Good morning and assalamu alaikum. How are you all? Hope you all are fine. Today is 24th of November 2023 and today is Friday. We will do unit number 2. Ecosystem. Okay, can anybody tell me what is an ecosystem? Good. The ecosystem is the place where living and non-living things are living together. Good. And they having what? They having a relationship with each other. And can anybody tell what is the living things of the ecosystem are called? Good. Biotic factor. And what about the non-living things? Only the living things are living in the on the earth. Yes, good. There are also non-living things, and the non-living things are called abiotic factors. Good. And we can say that, or we can explain the ecosystem that the ecosystem is the place where the living and the non-living things, biotic and the abiotic factors, which are living together and they having a relationship with each other, is called as the ecosystem. Good. Okay, now can anybody tell me what are the important things for the living organism to survive on the earth? Okay, tell me one by one. Food. Good. The water is very important. And how we can breathe? Okay, good. We can breathe with the help of the gas which is called oxygen gas. Okay, the shelter is very important. The safe shelter or the safe space is very important thing for the living organism to live on the earth. Okay, food is important. Food is important for you. Food I have already written on the board, and energy. We need the energy. Good, and many other things. But these are the most important things which are very important for the living organism. And if we will discuss, or if we will give the points to these things, the most important thing is which is the most important thing without which we can't able to live on the earth. Okay, good. The air or the oxygen gas is very important. So we can give the first point to it, and after the oxygen, without which we can't able to survive, is the water. Good. And if we will give the third point or the third rank to the essential thing which is important for living organism is the food. Good. So isn't it we can get the energy from the food? So we can say that the energy and the food are interconnected with each other. So if we eat the food, we can get the energy to do our different works. Good. And the fourth one is we can say that the shelter is also very important. So we will discuss in our lesson the oxygen, water, and obviously the energy, which are very important for the living organism to survive on the earth. So the topic, our topic is essentials of survival. First of all, we will discuss about oxygen. Can anyone tell me from where we can get the oxygen? Okay, air. Air is the area from where we can get the oxygen, and from where the oxygen in the air, from where it is come from. Okay, good. That was the plants that are giving us the oxygen. So we can say that the oxygen gas we can get from the air, and we as a human being we are getting the oxygen from the air. And if we talk about the living organism that are living in the water, they can get their oxygen from the water. So come to the point again that from where the plants can get if the plants are giving us the oxygen, how they are making the oxygen. Actually, the plants are making the oxygen by the process which is called as the photosynthesis. And in the process of the photosynthesis, plants are using carbon dioxide from the air, and it is taking water from the roots of the plant, and two other things are very important for making the food for the plant, and or we can also say that it is very important for the process of the photosynthesis, which is sunlight and chlorophyll. By having all four factors, the plants can able to make their food. That is, we can also say a glucose, and it is also giving us the gas which is called as oxygen gas. Yeah. So, if the plants are getting the carbon dioxide from the air, and it means that this carbon dioxide, if they are getting from the air, that carbon dioxide are given by us. When we breathe in oxygen, obviously when we have to breathe out some other gas which is called as the carbon dioxide gas, and this carbon dioxide gas is very important for the plants for their survival, or we can say that it is very important for them to make their food, and in return plants are giving us what? Oxygen. So we can say that the oxygen gas is very important and very essential for the survival of the living organism, for both human beings and the living organisms that are living in the water. So after oxygen, we will discuss about second factor. The second factor is water. Can anybody tell me why water is very important for us? Okay, good. That water is very important because we can't able to survive. That is correct. ये तो हो गया. इसके बाद the why it is very important. Give me any other reason. We can't able to live. Good. We can also say that the water is very important water is very important because our whole body having almost 70% of the water, and this 70% of the water is very important because it helps to do it helps to perform the different chemical reactions, and it can also help to do the proper digestion of the food, and it also helps to do the different reaction in the different organs of the body. And we can also say that water is also very important to maintain the temperature of our body. Okay, and we can't able to survive without water. We have the ability to survive without the food for some days, but we can't able to survive much longer without the water. Okay, we also have discussed about in the previous lesson that there is the animal which have the ability to survive without water for a long period of time. Which of that animal is? Can anybody tell me what is the name of that animal? Okay, good. That is the camel. Camel have the ability to live in the desert for a long time period without water. Okay. The next one is the third essential thing is the energy. And this energy we can get from food. We can also say that the energy is the third important thing, or the food is the third most important thing from of the living organisms. Acha. Now you will tell me what is the main source or the chief source of the energy of the earth, from where the living organism, whether it is the plants or the animals or the insects or the birds, any living organism, they can get the energy from. The cheapest source of the energy is. You don't have the answer? Okay, I will tell you that the main source or the chief source of the energy is the sun. We can get the energy from the sun directly or indirectly. कुछ लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म होते हैं जो डायरेक्टली उससे एनर्जी लेते हैं और they can able to make their food, and there are some living organisms they can get the energy from the sun but they can't able to make their own food. Okay, so the living organisms that have the ability to make their food by getting the energy from the sun is the plants. Okay, and the organisms which have the ability to make their own food are called actually producers, because they have the ability to make their own food. And what is the process through which they can able to make their own food? We have discussed it before it. Okay, good. The process is photosynthesis, and if we can even, the human beings or the animals have the ability to make their own food by getting their energy from the sun. Good. They can't able to make their own food by the process, by any process. They can get the energy from the sun to become heat, or they get warmer, they to get insulated, but they can't able to make their own food. So the living the animals and the human beings are called consumers. It means that they are getting the energy from the plants. Plants have the ability to make their own food, but the process of the photosynthesis, so they are called as the producers, and the human beings and the animals are getting the energy from the plants. They are eating the plants, and so indirectly animals and the human beings are getting the energy from the sun, and the plants are getting the energy from the sun directly. Okay, so we can say that there is the chain between the living organisms, or we can say also say that there is a chain between the biotic factor of the ecosystem, and that chain is called as the food chain. What is the food chain? Food chain is the relationship, or we can also say that the food chain is the connection between the biotic factors, and there are the different types of the food chain that mostly we can see in our surrounding. We will discuss it properly what the food chain is. Okay, food chain actually is the relationship between biotic factor of an ecosystem. And there are the different types of the food chains. We mostly see that the cat can eat the meat, and the cat can be eaten by the dog, and the dog can be eaten by the lion. That it is the chain between the biotic factors. Or we can also discuss a simple food chain that if there are some plants, or for example grass. Grass is eaten by grasshopper. It means that the grass is eaten by the grasshopper. The energy of the grass is transferred to the grasshopper, and the grass can get the energy or can have the ability to make their own food, and they can get the energy from the sun. It means the grass is what? Grass is actually the producers. Okay. Okay. The grass can be eaten by the grasshoppers. It means that the energy of the grass is transferred to the grasshopper, and the grasshopper can be eaten by the different living organisms. But if we will discuss about the only one living organism, that may be the mouse. And it means that the energy of the grasshopper is transferred to the mouse. Okay, one more thing, that some of the energy is transferred to the other organism, but some of the energy is wasted in doing the different things. So it means that the next organism needs much more food to get the extra energy. Okay. And if we talk about the mouse is eaten by any other the big animal, that may be the snake, and the snake may be eaten by any bird or living organism. We can say that it can be eaten by eagle. So this is a simple food chain. We can also say that it is the relationship between the biotic factor. All of them are the living organisms. So the living organism of the ecosystem are called the biotic factors. So it means that the energy is transferred from the sun to the eagle. So the grass, if the sun is giving the energy to the grass, it means that the grass have the ability to make their own food. So they are the producers. And if the grasshopper, mouse, snake and eagle have no ability to make their own food, so they all are called as the consumers. Okay, that may be the primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, and quaternary consumers. The steps of the consumers may be increased. That may be more than one or more than two or more than three or the fours. Okay, and now this is the first symbol of food chain. It's not necessary that always the grass is eaten by the grasshopper, or always the grasshopper will be eaten by the mouse. Maybe the grasshopper is eaten by the cat, or it may be eaten by any bird. Okay, a bird may be the sparrow, and the sparrow is eaten by any big bird, which may be the eagle. Okay. So it is the second food chain, which is starting from the sun, grass, grasshopper, sparrow and the eagle. And the second food chain, maybe the grasshopper is eaten by the cat, and the cat is eaten by the dog, and the dog is eaten by the lion. That is the second food chain. Okay. Or it may be the grass is eaten by the grasshopper, and the grasshopper is eaten by the mouse, and the mouse is eaten by the cat, and the cat is eaten by the dog, and the dog is eaten by the tiger. Okay, there are many different types of the food chains that exist in our surroundings. So if there are the collection of the different types of the food chains that are actually called as the food web. And what is the ending of the food chain? The ending of the food chain is that all have to die, and if all the organisms have to die, they can become the part of the soil. And how they become the part of the soil? By the help of the living organism, which are called as the decomposers. Okay, the eagle are eaten by the decomposer if they will die, if it will die, or Loin is also eaten by the decomposers. Decomposers are actually the germs or bacteria or the fungi that can have the ability to digest the living organism, and it become the part of the soil. So we can say that if there is the collection of the food chain, that is called as the food web. What it is called? It is called food web, which is collection of different food chains that we can see in our surrounding. I hope so you have understand about the topic clearly. So in the last, the homework that you have to do is you will draw one food chain and food web. Okay, except this one that I have drawn on the board. You have to make one food chain and the food web. You can do the observation that from your surrounding, and you can also take help from the internet, and you will make one food chain and a food web. This is your homework, and I will inshallah see this homework on Monday. Okay, thank you so much.